the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about...
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, Bayelsa State. Diri denies pressuring deputy to defect to APC. And on 2027, rejected Rivers politician can't fight Tinubu's re-election, Lagos APC slams Amechi. And on PDP crisis, conflicting court order stalls convention plans. And then MPP blames Kwakwanso for party crisis, mass defection. And on National Assembly, Senate dismisses rumored plot to impeach Akpabio. And on FCT, SAN false naval officer backs Wike's action in land crash. We're open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Alpha TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
We condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
We condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
We condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
We condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
access to our money will put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
access to our money will put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
access to our money will put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
access to our money will put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
we are the two.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
Nigerians need now is not about the top thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we at it?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the top thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we at it?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the top thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Ayeba Gospar, a political analyst and a regular on Open Conversation. Ayeba, it's a pleasure to have you back once again.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And on to the story. Bayelsa State Governor Due Diri has ruled out compelling his deputy, Senator Lawrence Ewajapo, to join him in the All Progressive Congress, which he formally joined on November 3 after resigning from the People's Democratic Party. Speaking at the State Executive Council meeting in Yenogwa, Diri said he preferred dialogue to coercion, noting that politics should unite rather than divide. He disclosed that Ewajapo had withdrawn a court case challenging an alleged impeachment move following their reconciliation talks. The governor thanked Bayelsans for their solidarity during his official defection and Thanksgiving service, describing the massive turnout as proof of unity. He reaffirmed loyalty to President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, pledging to work for national development. Diri emphasized that he would rather appeal to others to see reason with him than impose his political choices, saying leadership must be guided by humility and mutual respect. Addressing reports of armed men in the state, Diri dismissed them as fake news, assuring residents that Bayelsa remains one of Nigeria's most secure states. He urged citizens to avoid spreading falsehoods and report any concerns to security agencies. At the meeting, the governor received 2 national awards, one for excellence in health insurance delivery and another for his contributions to sports development. Ayeba, what is your take on the story?
Yeah, Larisha, I think I will have to commend the governor of Bayelsa State, for acting as one who is ready to lead a people that is being convinced in what they do. Because first, when Governor Diri resigned from the PDP, he said that it was on a personal ground that he was resigning. And for him to step down some of the, actions to look as if he was forcing the deputy governor in joining him is a good one, because people should be convinced in what they do. People should see reason why they should do what you want them to do. And it's a good one, and it is what I want all leaders across board to, emulate and ensure that their followers are behind them based on what they have seen that is good, that will compel them to do so, and not by doing so because they want them to do so. Yeah.
All right. Now, you followed Bayelsa State's issues, and you recall after his defection, the deputy refused to defect with him, and shortly after that, the Bayelsa State House of Assembly started making moves, to impeach the deputy governor. And, the deputy governor said that that impeachment was coming on the ground of his refusal to defect with the governor, saying that it's his choice. Politics, let's leave politics. Nigerian constitution, one of the basic fundamental human rights is the right to association, isn't it? So if he chooses to remain in the party, let's say PDP, for instance, it is his prerogative, right? If he has not done anything contrary to his oath of office, why should he be impeached? Now, one wouldn't one look at that as a form of political witch hunt?
That was what it was looking like, but by the grace of God, I think it has been confirmed.
There is ADR.
Yeah, it has been confirmed that because when the impeachment, insinuations were going on, I think the deputy governor ran to court.
Yes, he took it to court.
Yeah, he's run to court, and I think by today we are hearing that
they're having reconciliation talks.
The case has been withdrawn.
Yes.
That he has been allowed to be convinced if you want to join the governor to where he's going.
You should do that
yes,
willingly.
But that's there is talks going on, and from what the governor is saying, that he's not going to coerce anybody to join him in his ideas, and I think it's a good one. And I believe that with this development, I think they will come to an agreement.
Hopefully. All right, very well. And then on to the FCT. A senior advocate of Nigeria and constitutional lawyer, Professor Sebastian On, has condemned the conduct of Naval Officer A.M. Yerima in his confrontation with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, describing it as a breach of the law. In a Facebook post on Wednesday, Hunt said the officer's decision to block Wike from accessing a disputed plot of land in Gadua, Abuja, under the guise of obeying superior orders was unconstitutional and unjustifiable. He explained that the military personnel are not bound to execute illegal directives, citing Supreme Court judgments that forbid compliance with unlawful orders. Hunt stressed that no service law allows a serving officer to guard the private construction site of a superior, adding that any security concerns should have been addressed through the civil police. He maintained that as the FCT minister, Wike lawfully exercises the president's delegated powers over land administration in Abuja and therefore represents civil authority. While noting that Wike's approach might appear confrontational, the law professor insisted the minister acted within his constitutional rights, whereas the officer violated both the Armed Forces Act and the Nigerian Constitution. He warned that failure to discipline the officer could embolden security personnel to defy civilian authority. The clash occurred when Wike visited the disputed sites to enforce a stop work order, accusing the developers and soldiers of land grabbing. Aiba, what is your take? This is a trending conversation. It is very controversial. Like most persons have something to say, but I am also interested to know your take on this matter, Aiba.
Russia, as a Rivers person and as a Nigerian, I am pained and seriously, angry, because what I'm seeing playing out, I'm seeing a conspiracy. I'm seeing some set of individuals that thinks that Abuja is their private enterprise, that have taken the FCT as their personal freedom. Because if that is not the case, Laurentia, why would an individual, a retired naval personnel, knowing very well that there was no transaction between him and the FCT concerning that land, went on to mobilize military personnel to stop a serving minister of the FCT, who is the operational security officer under the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who is the president, from carrying out his duty. And it is very unfortunate that we are seeing civil leadership being disrespected in this manner. And as a Rivers person, I'm very angry, and we are not going to tolerate this.
You're making it sound ethnic, like
it's not.
You're saying as a Rivers person, was there any offense to Rivers State?
Laurentia, this is the first time a Southerner is being appointed as the FCT minister. And outside this incident, there have been other incidences that have been, a way of undermining the office of the FCT because it's not from the north. If the FCT minister was from the north,
you're giving this an ethnic.
I'm not giving it an ethnic coloration, but I'm just saying the reality. The FCT minister is the leader of Rivers State. Is the leader in South. I'm not giving it ethnic coloration, but I'm saying that if it was a northerner, he wouldn't have been this disrespected. That's what I'm saying.
Now, Aiba, you're saying if it were to be a northerner, he wouldn't have been disrespected. Now, giving it an ethnic coloration, one would say to a large extent, you have not made a case for me. I am trying to make it make sense to me how he's been from the south, what he has to do with this.
Laurentia.
Now, I am looking, we are looking at, was there a breach of the law? Was there an infraction of the law? Let us address issues, as it were, and not, go that way
Laurentia,
of saying he's from the north, he's from the south.
First, I am a Rivers man. The FCT minister is my kinsman. Talking about if any law was breached or not, I would say yes. Law was breached. And there's no way that a retired naval officer will mobilize military personnel to stop a serving minister that is doing his duty. Laurentia, let me tell you this. If there's anybody that the said naval retired officer should be, angry with, or is the Santos. One something that originally were allocated that very land that was subdivided to Gambo. So to me, the action of the young naval officer is wrong and disrespectful to the office of the FCT minister.
Now, let us look at the legal implications, because I do not subscribe to ethnic coloration in conversations, because it really whittles down the importance of the conversation and also completely takes away the veracity of any conversation or any argument you may want to place on the table, because there are still northerners, even in the FCT, who applaud the FCT minister, who also support him. So I think Nigeria, we are growing, gradually growing out of that ethnic divide, and I want us to focus, push the conversation and direct our conversation to legality or illegality of the actions on both sides. Now, first of all, the professor who was speaking, he stated clearly, he said that there are laws that have been breached. He said it clearly that there are laws that have been breached. And he said that irrespective of the fact that the junior officer was taking instructions from the superior, that even the junior officer is bound by civilian authority, as explicitly stated in Supreme Court judgments. Now, one will say, first of all, the first FCT minister is acting on delegated powers of the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So it wasn't about the office of the FCT minister here. It was about the person of the president. Because usually they would say, when you attack a governor of a state, you attack the people of that state.
Yeah. When
you attack the FCT minister, or you disrespect the FCT minister, you disrespect the power that gave him the position that he wields, and that is the president. So for a governor, it's the people who elected him. FCT minister is an appointed position by the president. So disrespecting the FCT minister is disrespecting President Tinubu in this instance. Now, the question I'm asking now is the officer, the naval officer, and the retired General Sambo, are they saying that the president is not, whatever order A.M. Yerima was acting on that day, is it superior to the president of Nigeria? That should be the question I'm asking, because the FCT minister is acting on delegated powers of the president.
Laurentia, I don't think there's any orders in Nigeria. There is no order in Nigeria that will supersede the order of Mr. President. And the young naval officer who said he was acting on the orders of his principal, has no justification to the action he took on the FCT minister. Because the FCT minister is representing the president. The FCT minister is the operational security officer of the FCT and cannot be stopped in accessing any part of the FCT he wished to. So to me, the action of the young naval officer is unlawful and disrespectful.
All right. Now, Professor Sebastian Horn cited Supreme Court rulings in Onunze versus State 2023, 8 NWLR PT 188561, and Nigeria Air Force versus James 2002. He said, which according to him clearly established that military officers are not bound to obey illegal or manifestly unjust orders. Now, he went further to say that the illegality in that order stems primarily from the fact that no service law of the military permits a serving officer to mount guard at a private construction site of his boss, especially under suspicious circumstances like this. He also argued that the retired naval officer ought, under the circumstance, to have engaged the civil police. Now, the question is, now, the owner of the disputed land, in this instance, is one retired naval officer. And A.M. Yerima, it is being touted to, be one of his details. Now, if he is detailed to the retired naval officer, the question, the one would say he was detailed to protect him, right? To serve as his security detail to an individual. Was he detailed to a land?
Okay.
He was detailed to retired naval officer, right? So how come at that point in time, because I am looking at the entire scenario, in all that altercation that happened, I did not see the retired naval officer there that will warrant or justify the presence of A.M. Yerima in that land at that material time. Because if he was detailed as security to the retired naval officer, one would expect he should be wherever his boss is. So why is he not where his boss is, but he is guarding a disputed land? Is that the job of the military? Is it not to protect territorial integrity? How then has the military or a naval officer been reduced to safeguarding a land, a piece of land in FCT?
Laurentia, first I would say I agree completely with the son, and also with their position, because in no way was the naval officer Yerima supposed to be preventing a land that is not allocated to his principal in the first place. Laurentia, I want to give you a little background in a few minutes. From the records available, that land was allocated to One Santos Limited in 2007 for a park and recreation. In 2022, the said Santos wrote to the FCT authority to change it from park and recreation to a commercial and residential. And the FCT authority in 2022 refused to grant that request. The said Santos, not minding the implication, decided to subdivide those land to individuals, including Gambo. And when they were developing that land, the FCT authority noticed that there was no document of Sambo with the FCT authority. So when they went to inquire why they were developing the land, the retired naval officer decided to, mobilize military personnel to stop the FCT authority personnel that were on their routine check twice before the FCT military was even angry before he went there. They have been chasing people sent by the FCT authority severally, and it's very unfortunate, and that is why some of us came to the conclusion that it was a calculated attempt to undermine the office of the FCT minister. Because there's no way a naval officer that was supposed to be, protecting the territorial boundaries of Nigeria, defending illegality, is very unfortunate, and I believe that that the law will catch up on him, and the needful will be done.
Now, pursuant to sections 297, subsection 2, and other provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now, clearly in this particular section of the Constitution, the FCT minister exercises the power of the president over land administration in Abuja. Now, regardless of the controversies surrounding the land disputes in Abuja, the question is, does the FCT minister have the locus to do that? Now, the Constitution empowers the minister to act, to administer land in Abuja, like I just quoted. Now, if that is being, let's say, that's what is going on That is what he is doing. And there are concerns around that. The right thing to have done is to go to court, isn't it? The right thing to have done is to go to court. Because I am looking at the fact that this issue is on. And going by the status of the retired naval, involved, one would say to a large extent he could have had easy access to the FCT minister to discuss this with him, to find a way forward. In fact, one would say it would even be easier for him than regular FCT residents to assess the FCT minister and bring his attention to whatever these issues he may have with regards to that land and have it resolved. Is heavily vested on him, president. And while people might be saying, oh, this is Wike because of that name, one would say that was the representative of the president at that moment in time. This brings to mind, I think Nigerians ought to be concerned about what we celebrate and what we applaud. Usually when Nigerians do not like a person, Nigerians tend to overlook the truth, sit on the truth, and say it is okay. Just because it's this person, it's okay. But are we not setting the wrong precedents? When issues happen, we let our emotions becloud our judgments. Because after this FCT minister, there will be another FCT minister, and there will be another FCT minister, and there will be another FCT minister, and a wrong precedence has been set. Interestingly, this is not the first time security operatives are they are standing down a government official. It happened in the case of Sanwo-Olu as well in Lagos State. He was stood down and denied access to a land under his authority. How is it that Nigerians, we celebrate the wrong things? Possibly because, one is not liked or one is seen to be very controversial, in the political corridors. But are we not celebrating the wrong things? Are we asking pertinent questions? Are we asking important questions that should be asked while we are celebrating this, or while Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians, because there are also dissenting voices, while a lot of Nigerians are applauding the military and are applauding AM Yerima, and Nigerians asking the right questions? Are the conversations being done with the right perspective? Are Nigerians, some Nigerians celebrating this, not setting the wrong precedents in a democratic government, civilian rule, with the highest authority on the land as civilian authority? The military is clearly disobeying extant laws, disobeying the Nigerian constitution, and some Nigerians say it's okay. Well,
Laurentia, like you rightly said, that it would have been some other person, if not Mickey. And for those rejoicing and praising the young naval officer, I see them as opposition members. Because one thing that politics have done to some of us, it has blinded our understanding. And not knowing that if Wike is the FCT minister today, which is tenured, some other person will be in that office. But what are we saying? The FCT minister is doing his lawful duty, assigned to him, vested on him by the powers of the president. And that is why some of us are saying that this young naval officer, Yerima, should be tried in the military court pursuant to Section 114 of the Nigerian Armed Forces Act that talks about civil offense, that if a military member or officer disrespects civil authority, he is guilty by that very section of that Nigerian Armed Forces Act. So it is on that note that we are saying that the young man should be tried so that it will serve as a deterrent to others.
All right, very well. Very well. Like I said before I move on to the next story, the questions Nigeria should be asking is that a legal posting? Was A.M. Yerima at his official posting at that material moment? If he was posted as security detail to the retired naval chief, where was the retired naval chief at that material moment? Was Yerima with the retired naval chief at that material moment? Was he posted as security detail to the retired naval chief, or was he posted to secure a piece of land, be it in the name of the retired naval chief or any other person? Because last time I checked, the retired naval chief is a person and very different from a piece of land. I think we should be asking some questions. Exactly. Was A.M. Yerima at his legal posting at that material time? And secondly, since when the soldiers, military personnel, naval officers start protecting lands, I mean piece of lands? Since when did that start happening in the country? Where do we draw the line at this point? While a lot of persons might be celebrating this, one should be should be asking deeper questions. There are questions that has to be answered. But then, we move on to the next story. Lagos State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has condemned former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and his recent comments urging Nigerians to unite against President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. The party described Amechi's statement as reckless and unbecoming of a senior party member who once benefited from Tinubu's political support. In a statement by his publicity secretary, Sheye Oladejo, the Lagos APC accused Amechi of political bitterness and hypocrisy, noting that his outburst only exposed his frustration after years of failed political ambitions. The party said Amechi should focus on rebuilding his relevance instead of attacking the president, whom Nigerians elected based on competence and track record. The Lagos APC reaffirmed Tinubu's leadership as visionary and transformative, citing ongoing reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy and strengthening national unity. It urged party members and Nigerians to ignore Amechi's comments, emphasizing that the APC remains united and focused on delivering the dividends of democracy ahead of 2027. Ayeba, what is your take? I hope you followed Amechi's comments and the backlash coming from the Lagos State APC. What is your take on this development?
You know, Amechi got a suitable and desired response from the APC in Lagos State, because Amechi over time has exhibited bitterness right from when the current president defeated him in the APC presidential, convention. And it is very unfortunate. This comment made by Amechi that Nigeria will be mobilized against Tinubu in 2027. It's not the first time he's making this statement. He has been making this statement, so it's not the first time. And for the APC in Lagos State to know that Amechi has been rejected in Rivers State and all that is a political orphan, it's correct. It's correct because Amechi as a super minister, Amechi was the two-time DG of campaigns to former president, late President Buhari. Amechi never won any election in Rivers State. Amechi in 2015 when all his ardent supporters left him. In 2015, when they left him and the remnant left him in 2023 after he lost the presidential primaries to President Tinubu, Amechi has never won any election in Rivers State. So if the APC in Lagos State is saying that he's a political orphan, they are right. They are right. Because as it stands now, Amechi cannot mobilize anybody in Rivers State against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. He cannot. He doesn't have that capacity. He doesn't. So the Lagos State chapter of the APC is correct, and I totally support the spokesman on that.
All right, very well. People's Democratic Party is facing fresh uncertainty over its planned national convention as conflicting court rulings threaten to derail the exercise scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan. While the Oyo State High Court on Wednesday extended its interim order permitting the convention, the Federal High Court in Abuja had earlier barred the party from holding it following a suit filed by former Jigawa Governor Sule Lamido, who alleged exclusion from the chairmanship race. Justice Ladiran Akintola of the Oyo State High Court ruled that the injunction allowing the convention would remain in force until Friday when the substantive case resumes. However, Justice Peter Lefo of the Abuja Federal High Court ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission not to recognize or monitor the exercise, citing irregularities in the process and violation of the mandatory 21-day notice required by law. Reacting, the PDP leadership dismissed the Abuja ruling as a waste of time, insisting it would proceed with preparations guided by a Supreme Court judgment, affirming that internal party matters lie beyond judicial interference. The party's Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Ibrahim Abdullahi, said that PDP was not founded by the courts and would not be distracted by procured judgments. Meanwhile, party elders have warned that ongoing legal tussle could plunge the PDP into crisis. NEC member Timothy Osadolo said the situation might force the party to establish an interim management committee if unresolved, while former National Vice Chairman Edi Olafesho accused those opposing the convention of plotting to weaken the opposition and entrench a one-party state. Despite the confusion, the convention committee has continued preparations at the Lekan Salami Stadium, Ibadan. Ayeba, what do you make of this development in PDP?
My position is simple. Whosoever that will be planning to participate in that convention, one, will be wasting their efforts and their resources, because from the conflicting judgments, I don't think any outcome of that convention will be taken seriously and we have the legal stand to withstand any legal, opposition. And for the person that is saying that that the party is supreme and all that, yes, party is supreme, and the Supreme Court has emphasized that severally. But given to the crisis in PDP, who is in the position to call NEC meeting? Who is in the position to call for the
issue notice
for the convention to be held? Of course, is the National Secretary of the party. And for Sule Lamido to go to court stopping that convention is right, because I saw a day where he went to the office, and by the party constitution of PDP, I'm not a PDP member, but by their own party constitution, it states that the person that will be in charge of any form that has to do with convention is
records and documents.
Is the National Organizing Secretary. And the National Organization was not aware. He told Lamido that he hadn't set his eyes on any form. So I think the crisis in PDP is self-inflicted. So nobody should accuse the opposition. They are by themselves killing the party. And I want to stand by the position of Bukola Saraki. Yesterday, I think some people, they said is their BOT members visited him. And
They have two factional BOT now. One led by Wabara. The Damagun's faction of BOT is headed by Wabara. The Wike's faction of BOT is headed by Ohabunwa.
So maybe it is the faction of Wabara that visited Saraki, because he was also part of them.
All right.
So he was very clear. He was very clear in his position that, look, there are conflicted court judgments. And as it stands, nobody will know which convention will be honored and which one will not be honored. That he will not be part of any exercise, that he will not know the fate of that exercise. That with the way things are going, that it will be proper for a committee that will look into, that will connect the affairs of the party to be formed, that he is not going to be part of this convention. He was very certain. He was very certain, because the first courts from Abuja, maybe just a Omotosha or so, stopped the convention. And there was another court judgment from Oyo State.
Justice Akintola.
Yes, giving room for the convention to be heard. Then this Lamido's case, yes, that
gave another one. So then Justice Akintola came again and gave another one.
So following these conflicting court judgments, I will advise them again to look inwards and do the right thing, because political matters cannot be solved by courts. It will be solved on a round table. And whenever they are on a round table, they should also abide by the agreements, because that is what is causing this round of crisis as it stands. Because the FCC minister once accused them that there was an agreement in Lagos. They agreed that so things and that should be done. And when they left, they went and do another thing. So when they are on a round table and agreement is reached, they should ensure that they abide by the agreements and not to start looking for who to blame for their woes.
Right. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll look at the rumored impeachment of Senator Ababio. Do not go away.
People. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she sent me down
of Mark. Division within the chamber. Presiding over the session, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barao commended Bamidele for setting the record straight and reaffirmed the upper chamber's collective support for Ababio's leadership. Eba, what do you make of this story?
Yes, what I would say, Laurentia, is that there is no smoke without a fire. And for this kind of, story to start hitting the airwaves means that there was something on ground, just like Oji Uzokalu acknowledged. Because for him to say that it was thwarted, that means there was a plan to impeach the Senate president, but it was thwarted, according to
that's what Oji Uzokalu said.
And also for the leader of the Senate to say that they are not going to take the information lightly, that means, so the Senate President Akpabio should ensure that he put his house in order. Because if there's any time the Senate should be united, it's now, because they are having the majority, and in fact, there's no opposition in the Senate as of today. So if there's anybody or people that will want to impeach the Senate President, will still be members of this political party. So I will urge him to stand up and ensure that whatever areas that he was not doing well, he should ensure that he carried everybody along.
Just like you said, there is no smoke without fire. And usually when these things happen in politics, there is this quick reaction by politicians to do damage control and all of that. But when you go through some of the things that Senator Oji Uzokalu said, those things were not, there's no way one could have misconstrued those things, because one, he dismissed those, he in his statement actually acknowledged that there was crisis, which he dismissed as family misunderstanding. Now, if there was no misunderstanding, why would Senator Oji Uzokalu infer that there was one, right? And if there was no misunderstanding, why would it be dismissed as family misunderstanding? So from what Senator Oji Uzokalu said, one can establish that there was actually a problem, even though it wasn't public notice, but there was a problem. And probably the problem was targeted at the removal of the Senate president. So Senator Bamidele coming out to say, oh, no, Senator Oji Uzokalu was misinterpreted. Was there a problem or not?
Yeah,
that would be the question.
From the statements of the Senate leader and Oji Uzokalu, I would say that yes, there was a problem, because for the leaders to say that they called Kalu to confirm if he actually made those statements, and they said that he was quoted out of context. Oji said that the move was thwarted.
Let me quote him so that
attempts.
Yeah, let me quote it. He said, though there were attempts at what? At what exactly? I mean, we journalists, are we not that intelligent? Though there were attempts, we did not allow that to happen. So what was it that they didn't allow to happen? This is why I always say that we are one big family, and it is not going to happen. This is Oji Uzokalu's words, verbatim. So what was it exactly that they attempted that they did not allow to happen?
The truth is that within the ranks of the senators, there could have been a misunderstanding. And yes, if you tell me that there's always a faction in the Senate, I would say yes. But for an impeachment to take place, it will have to take the backings of the party.
Majority.
Yeah, the party, not even the senators.
Party, okay.
Yeah, it's the APC as a party. Yes, because it is on their platform. So probably it is just a misunderstanding between the senators, and I think that it will not hold water. But definitely the Senate President should sit up and ensure that he bring everybody on board so that this kind of thing will not happen.
There is no smoke
without
fire. That was what that was the opening statement. There is no smoke without fire. So would you say that Senator Bamidele is just trying to do damage control?
He's the leader of the Senate, and you cannot come and say that yes, there was an attempt to impeach the Senate President.
All right.
Yes, but impeachment is part of the business in the Red Chamber.
Impeachment is part of the business in the Red Chamber. Interesting submission there. Thank you so much, Aiba Kospower, for coming on Open Conversation. It's a pleasure having you. And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We're open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Naivaja TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ugu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed.